بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد.
So let's start inshallah. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. So tonight we'll be talking about zakah and all the different situations of zakah. I will be skipping certain things. Wa alaikum salam. It can be a little complicated and confusing. If you want to know more, you let me know. I can do it, but it talks mostly about cattle and how you do zakah for cattle, and if you own sheep, how you do it, and if you own goats, how you do it. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. So this is difficult a little bit. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Because every kind of animal has its own zakah in a different percentage and proportion and all that. So I don't think that is, I don't know, is there any farmers here?
That's what I was going to say. There's no farmers here.
Market. I drive on farmers market every day. 1960. Okay, so anyhow, the zakat-ul-dayn. Now this is very important. Many people do not know this.
Mhm.
And this is the same for the 401k or anything that fits the same description.
Okay.
How do we do zakat-ul-dayn? If, let's say, I go to Brother Sudagar, he's here, but he turned his camera off. I think he's eating. He's eating something good. He doesn't want me to see it. So I go to Brother Sudagar and I say, I want you to give me a loan, $1 million.
Mhm.
Now, he gives me $1 million as a loan. Does he have to pay zakat for this $1 million? So he gave me $1 million a loan,
Mhm.
and he doesn't have that money now. I have it. Does he have to pay zakat for
I
that?
don't think so. I think you have to pay zakat.
It's a loan for me. It's a dayn. It's not my money. So who pays zakat? Who doesn't pay zakat? And what's going on?
The way you're
You pay
saying it,
zakat
he has
double
to
the
pay
amount
the
next
zakat.
year.
I guess that's his money, so he has to pay because he's gonna get it back anyways, right?
What if I don't give it back?
that's that's another problem.
No, I'm saying I took the money and we did not decide on a due date when I am paying it back. He was very generous and very nice. He said, pay it back whenever you want. So we don't have a due date. Or the due date is more than a year. Yani the time of zakat will pass.
Mhm.
If it was less than a year, then it's not a problem because I'll pay it back and he will have to pay zakat for it. That's not a problem. The problem is I have the money, we have no due date, or the due date is more than a year.
I
So
guess
how
you
do we
just
deal?
have to account for it when you get it back.
So when he doesn't have it, he doesn't pay zakat when the money is with me?
Yeah, because he doesn't have it. I mean, it has to sit somewhere for a year, right? So if you give it as a loan, he physically
you have to
doesn't
pay.
have the money for a year. So I assume that if it is more than a year, when he gets it, maybe 2 years later, that's when you account it for
What
zakat.
does
What
he have
about
to
the
pay
first
for
year?
something he doesn't have?
Well, you already solved the first year. You said if it is less than a year, then he has to pay zakat.
No, I understand. There is no problem when it's less than a year. I give it back, he pays zakah, not a problem. But when it's more than a year, that is the question. The first year, the $1 million is with me, but it's not my money. And it's not with him, but it's his money.
Oh my
That's where
God.
the confusion comes. Actually, the scholars have
Nobody
the
pays.
answer for that. The answer is, if the person whom have taken the money يعني me in this example, inshallah, I hope I don't take money from anyone. I really hate dain. I really hate dain, يعني. So, and we said before, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used not to pray janazah for those who died and they did not pay off their dain. This is a big deal, يعني. He's not يعني out of Islam or anything, but it's a big deal. Now, in this situation, if somebody takes money as a loan from somebody else, if that somebody is trustworthy and the owner of the money knows I can get my money anytime I want, I know this person is very trustworthy, he fears Allah, he's righteous, I know if I go anytime, I say give me back my money, he will give it to me. Then he has to pay zakat as if it was with him. But if the one who's getting the money is not a very trustworthy person, and you had maybe some experience with him giving you trouble, then why did you give him the money again? I don't know. But he's known to give you trouble or to give people trouble if they lend him any money, then there is no zakah in this situation because you have no access to it. So it depends on the person who takes the money.
But it could be a person that you trusted for so long and then suddenly he's not trustworthy.
Especially if it's $1 million, right?
Yeah. Leaves the country.
You can trust me with $1,000, but $1 million, I don't know. I might buy a Lamborghini, and then you come and say, "What is my money?" I say, "Look, my new Lamborghini." That's where it went. So that is the same for the 401k, by the way. How do you pay zakah for this money? When the year passes, how much money can you withdraw from that account? How much money you have access to? This is what you pay zakah for.
So you pay zakat for the money you took out?
No, not you took out. The money you can take out if you want to. Because I know they won't let you take all the money, unless, or you pay the penalty or something.
Right.
So how
Not
much
when you're
money
retired,
can you take? Huh?
I think with the retirement is different.
Yeah, it depends on the policy of the company, but whatever money you have access to, this is the money you pay zakah for. So if you don't have access to you even if it's yours, but you cannot withdraw it without losing, then you don't pay zakah. If you can withdraw it without any penalties, then you have to pay zakah, even if you don't withdraw it.
Sure, that only applies typically to retirement age, like 59 and a half. Otherwise, every time you withdraw it, you will pay a penalty. So in this case, would it be when the money becomes fully available is when you retire? Is that then the rule?
So if you withdraw, how much can you withdraw? Can you withdraw all of it?
You can withdraw whatever you want. You will just pay a penalty. I think typically it's 10% penalty plus taxes.
That's when you are still working or still underage,
Right.
Until you're retired.
I didn't check to see if I can withdraw it all.
Well, then if you want to be on the safe side, see the amount. If you withdraw it minus the penalty, that's what you pay zakah for. Even though some say if there is a penalty, you don't want to be in that situation. But I would say if you want to be on the safe side, how much can you withdraw? If you can withdraw the whole amount minus the penalty, because they're going to take that away, you pay zakah for that amount.
Okay.
In my company, in Aramco, we were contributing and Aramco was contributing. We were having two portions.
Right.
One Aramco, one mine.
Right.
So then it's double. But my contribution was acceptable. It's big money. Big money. Every year it increased. So we used to pay zakah on the money which belonged to me.
Yeah.
I can draw anytime.
Yeah, the money which you cannot withdraw, you don't pay zakah for. Yeah, because it's not with you yet, and you have no access to it.
That portion, every year it was increasing, until I got retired. I used to pay zakah on the money of my portion.
Yeah, the money you have access to. That's always the case, yeah. Now, next will be zakah.
Sheikh, some of the 401k plan is if it's 100% vested, then you can take the 100% out.
And you don't pay anything?
No.
Then you have to pay zakat for all of it.
For all of it, right?
Yeah. If you have withdraw all of it, you can, and without losing anything, then you have to pay zakat. Because this is your money. It's with you. It's just like money in the bank.
Yeah.
Or you can give it to me and don't worry about zakah anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I worry about you.
You worry about me. Yeah, you worry about me is easier. Walaikum assalam. Yeah, if you're worried about the zakah and all this stuff, just give me the money. I'll take care of it.
Okay, inshallah.
But Sheikh, that's every year though, right? So it's not just a one-time thing, every year, as long as the money's there.
Yeah. Because it's your money, and you can always, anytime you want, you can go get it. So it's just whether it was in your pocket or in the bank or with the company, it's your money. So yeah.
Well, normally you pay more taxes than you pay for zakat. You know.
Taxes, yeah, zakat is just 2.5%. It's not really much. And unless you have, mashallah, 10 million, 15 million dollars, then zakat will be actually a big amount. Yani, that's why zakat is difficult for those who are wealthy, or not difficult. Yani, I'm just saying that they feel that it's a big amount because they have a lot. But for somebody who has 10,000, 20,000 in the bank, 2.5% will not be that difficult for him to pay. Next is zakat for gold and silver. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I am a little confused because I heard you talk about gold, cattle, and money. So is the concept of zakat comprehensive or is it itemized? Like, let's say at the end of the year, you have gold and cash in the bank and maybe cattle or maybe not. So do you put everything together like
No.
like the nisab,
That's
or
actually
is
a
it-
good question. And many people, they do is they kind of like turn everything into money. They add everything and then they pay zakat for it. That is not right because the percentage is different. And nisab is different. Nisab means the minimum you should own, so you pay zakat for. So you can't do that. Even they're saying you should not be adding gold with silver. If you have gold and silver, you pay zakah of gold by itself and zakah, or you calculate the zakah of the gold by itself and the silver by itself and the cash by itself and the cattle by itself. So because each one has a nisab minimum you should own and an amount which is different. So for example, for the gold, you have to have 20. They use the mithqal. Mithqal is like weight. Yeah, they used to use that as a currency, but for fidda, for silver, it's 200.
Yeah.
So it's not the same.
20 tola they used to, in Pakistan you said tola. It's less than
Only an ounce.
Ounce?
How many ounces of tola?
2.75 in one ounce.
2.75 tola is 1 ounce.
Okay, so that's basically 20 times that will be for gold and
for
200 for fidda, for silver.
Yeah.
So that's why you should not add it all together and pay zakah for it like that.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, somebody might not have any money in the bank, but then have that much gold. He's still liable for zakat on the gold.
Of course, and the nisab is 85 grams. If you have 85 grams of gold or more, that's when you pay zakat.
Big amount.
Did you talk about land? I don't know.
Land, we did not talk about land yet.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You are welcome.
But also, I think your own personal jewelry you don't pay for zakat on it, right?
We're gonna get to that, inshallah.
Okay.
The personal jewelry which you wear regularly, yani like bracelets and necklaces and rings, we'll talk about that, inshallah, shortly. But for now, it's a very important question, I think, to know that if you own different items, you should pay zakah for each one or calculate the zakah for each one differently according to the rules. You can't just add all of it and then kind of transfer it into dollars and then pay, because that will not be the same amount. When do we pay zakah for gold and fidda? Of course, as we said, nisab, which is the minimum amount, and that is 20 mithqalan, 20 mithqal, which is 85 grams, basically, 85 grams. For fidda, it is 200 dirham, 200 dirham of silver. That is the nisab, the minimum amount. And we said you should not add them together.
Mm-hmm.
Now here about jewelry which you wear. There is a difference of opinions about this, but there is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ which is seems to be sahih, mostly sahih. When the Prophet ﷺ, a woman came to him and her daughter was with her, and she was wearing two heavy bracelets in her hands. That says maskatani ghalidatan, heavy, yani something valuable. And the Prophet ﷺ asked, so she was wearing it. When the Prophet saw her, she was wearing it. He said, do you pay zakah for this? He said, no. She said, no. He said, the Prophet ﷺ said, would you be happy if Allah puts two bracelets of fire on your arms on the Day of Judgment? So she took it off and she gave it to the Prophet immediately. So they say, again, there are different opinions about this, but to be safe, you should pay zakah even for the jewelry which you wear regularly, to be on the safe side because of this hadith. And there are other hadith that are similar. But like I said, it's a disputable thing. But again, be on the safe side, even the jewelry which you wear, because some women, mashallah, they wear like so much. They are like, especially the Hindus, but those do not pay zakah anyway. Yeah, but they like all head to toe wearing jewelry. They even have rings for the toes, mashallah. So, so it's better to pay zakah. Now the next thing is urud al-tijara. Urud al-tijara is the transactions of trade or the inventory. Do you pay zakah for the inventory? And the answer is yes. You have to pay zakah in the inventory. You do not pay zakah for the assets.
So how do you know how much is 85 grams?
You have to actually, because I don't know, the 25 qirat and stuff like that, you have 24, I mean, you have to see how pure it is. So we're talking about 85 grams of pure gold.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have to do the calculation for that. All right. Now here there are, I guess this is not very important. Next is if you have, and I don't know if there are any farmers here, harvest. What is the zakah for the harvest? It's interesting to know that you pay zakah for the seeds and beans, hubub, and grain, and corn, and rice, and dates. You pay zakah for that. But you don't pay zakah for fruit and vegetables. What is the difference between what I mentioned earlier? What is the difference between the grain and the corn and the rice versus fruit and vegetables? The difference is fruit and vegetables, you can't store it for long.
Mm-hmm.
The grain and stuff like that, you can store it for a long time in storages, even if you don't need refrigerator. But fruit and vegetables, you cannot store it for long.
The fruit, you can dry it. and they leave store it.
No, yeah, here it's not talking about dried food, okay?
It's
I
a
need to
fruit.
I need to add that in the book. Send them. We have a very smart person here. You never thought about drying the fruit. Yeah, I don't think that everybody thought about that. Yeah, maybe then you pay zakat when it's dried. Yeah. Here in this situation, if you sell the fruit and the vegetables, the money you make, you pay zakat for that. But the actual, because the difference, what is the difference is, the others you pay zakat as soon as you do the harvest. When you have beans and corn, as soon as you do the harvest, you pay zakat. There is no hawl that the whole year has to pass. But for the fruit and vegetables, unless you dry them, yani. But if you don't dry them and you sell them the way they are fresh, because people like to eat fruit and vegetables fresh, yani, as far as I know, then the money you get has to have the whole year passing, and then you pay zakah. And that is the difference between the two.
Two different questions. The first is, let's go with the McDonald's situation. You said that you have to pay zakat on inventory, but an inventory of a frozen burger that can last several months versus lettuce, which will spoil. How would you do inventory for something that requires assembly like that from different parts? Or are you meaning inventory that was sold, not parts?
No, the inventory, even that is not sold yet, because it can be sold anytime. So you have to count the whole inventory and pay for it. Now, the things that are perishable, that might perish, normally those are cheaper in price anyway, so the difference will not be that much. And I think, yani, because the way they do it, they don't buy a big amount, so it will go bad. But those things that get bad fast, I don't think they buy a big amount of it. So the time of the zakat paying, you see your inventory, because the rest of the inventory became money.
Yeah, only,
right?
yeah.
You sold it and it became money, and you pay zakat for that money. But when it
Money,
comes
but
to
only
the
profit. Money
minus what you spent, yes, the expenses are out for sure. We talked about that.
The income of that product?
No. So let's say you made $10 million, okay, selling from McDonald's. And you had to buy inventory again. So you spent $5 million to restock. So the zakah for the money is for the 5 million, which is left, plus the inventory you have at the time of the zakah.
And zakat on the inventory of the food, not the paper.
Paper? Yeah, anything that you sell and you make money out of, you have to pay for that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Even the coupons.
Coupon we give it free.
Selling coupons.
So
yeah. What's the second question?
Well, on the first one is, you're saying he's going to pay zakat on the sales that he made for the year, and he's going to count, like, let's say Ramadan is in February. Then in February he's going to see what inventory he has in that month. That's correct?
Right.
Okay.
Because the previous month's inventory has already been sold, and it has become cash.
And things like napkins that he would not sell, he's going to deduct that from the, because those are goods that their cost, their, what is it, an expense.
Those are inventories.
Those are inventories, okay.
They will be added to the inventory.
Okay. And the second question is, how would a woman pay zakat if she is, let's say she's a homemaker? Is that the responsibility of the husband if she's not working?
If she doesn't have income, you mean?
Correct. She has an amount of money, but she's not working.
Well, if she has an amount of money, she has to pay zakah for it.
No, the gold and everything.
Yeah, she has to pay the zakah for the gold and jewelry and everything. She has to pay zakah, yeah, for sure.
Working. She's not having money.
Even if she's not earning money. that money she will have to pay zakah for it.
The husband should pay the zakat.
No, it's her responsibility. She can give it to him, and so he can take care of it. But it's her responsibility to pay zakah.
No money. I used to pay for my wife.
No, her money is her zakah. Doesn't matter. Even if she doesn't have an regular income coming in, but she has an amount of money. She can have $10 million for the in the bank. She doesn't pay zakah for it.
More than that, no, it's not the money.
Still, she has to pay zakah for it.
Yeah, but for that one, she has no money. She's taking money from me.
No, okay, so yeah, she can ask you to pay zakah on her behalf. Yeah, that is possible, yes. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, basically the lady has certain amount of money in the bank, like say 50,000. Okay, and then she has jewelry.
Okay.
And she has to pay zakat on both the money
and the jewelry. Yes.
So what would she ask the husband if she has that much money, 50,000?
If she has cash, then she has to pay the zakah herself. If she doesn't have cash, only the jewelry, then she can ask her husband to pay zakah for her. Yeah.
And with that money continues paying year,
every year, yes.
Okay, some people are poor, and what is the amount that they can be, what should I say, the minimum amount that they have to pay?
That is the nisab. Nisab is the minimum amount. You mean cash? How much money in the bank?
But the woman is not going to count herself as a separate from her husband, correct? I mean, if he has cash and she has, let's say, $20 in the bank, she doesn't have the minimum nisab, correct?
No. So this is the situation. If they're separate, they're not one thing. The husband and the wife, each one, just like the husband prays 5 times a day and the wife prays 5 times a day. Can the husband pray for his wife? You can't. So that's fard for everybody. She has, sometimes the woman, she has businesses and she has money more than her husband. So that's an individual thing. And this tax return filing jointly doesn't work with zakah. So each one is different. Individually, the husband has to pay his own zakah and the wife has to pay her own zakah. But we said in a situation when the wife does not have cash and she cannot actually pay zakah, she can ask her husband to do it on her behalf. If she has cash, it's better if she does it because that purifies the money. That's what zakah is all about, yeah.
But when we say she has cash, not $20.
No. No, you have to have the nisab. I think the nisab, last time I checked, because it changes every year with the inflation and stuff, I think it's maybe $1,500, but I have to double check because it changes a lot. So which means if you have less than that, you don't pay zakah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think but the purpose of zakat is that the asset, whatever you have, it doesn't stay one person's hand. With the time, he has to pay it on that asset. And if it depreciates, it goes down. So that's the reason the purpose of zakat is keep on moving from one person to other people. You cannot hold the things and leave it because every year you have to pay for it.
Mufti Sudagar has spoken, so. MashaAllah. Yes. So any other question?
Yes, sure. So what if the nisab is like you have the nisab more than the nisab, but then you owe money, like you have student loans or credit cards, and what you owe
You subtract it and you see what's the net at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, you have more money or less money after the dain is paid. So if you're still going to have more money after you have paid your debt, then you pay zakah for that. If you're going to be negative, then you don't pay zakah for it.
But what if it's like an installment, like it's, let's say you're paying your student loan in 5 years and you have...
So 1 year, take 1 year, what is the amount of money you're going to be paying this year? This is an expense.
Okay.
And how much money you have this year? And you do the calculation.
Inshallah. Okay. Jazakallah khair.
وإياكم إن شاء الله. Okay. So now we're not going to talk much about harvest because I don't think many people work in that. Now, interesting, if you you have honey, you have this honey place when they make honey. What is the zakah for honey? I'm not talking about calling your wife honey. I'm talking about the actual honey.
Nothing.
So what is the zakah for honey?
Whatever honey you have it, you pay the zakat on it. Whatever.
No, we're not talking about you sell it after selling it, not the money. We're talking about the actual honey. Because we talked about the rice and the stuff. Those, before you sell them, there is a zakah. But the honey, actually, there is no zakah for honey.
No,
There is no zakah for honey. It's interesting that there is no zakah for honey.
I can have more than one then.
Why?
Yeah, you can, if you have 4 honeys, then you need to, you'll be eligible to get zakah.
Yeah.
Why there's no zakat for honey?
Because there is no hadith about it. That's interesting, actually.
Because, I mean, if you sell it, you're making money.
No, if you sell it, now you have cash, and you pay zakah for the cash.
Right. Okay.
But if you don't sell it, you can have 1,000,000 tons of honey in the storage. If it doesn't go bad, you don't pay zakah for it.
Okay.
Until you sell it, and now it's money, it's cash. And then you pay zakah for the cash.
I don't know what the question was.
Yeah, that's too much for me to read. The 10th, are you talking about the 10th? But this hadith is weak, and scholars do not take by it. They do not apply it. The hadith, Imam Shafi'i says that the hadith is extremely weak and it's not applicable for the honey. That's why there is no zakah for honey. Next, treasure. What do you do if you find treasure? I did not find treasure yet, but what do you do if you find treasure? First, treasure does not have hawl or nisab, meaning there is no minimum and there is no 1 year. You pay as soon as you get it. And you pay 1/5, which is 20%. It's not 2.5%. So if you find treasure, you pay zakah as soon as you get it, and the amount you pay is 20%, not 2.5%.